PCN is brought to you in part by the following underwriters.
Welcome to PACTV Community News. I'm Brian Sullivan.
And I'm Julie Thompson.
On this episode of PCN, we meet up with Mary Ann Smith, Pembroke's town clerk, to wish her a happy retirement.
We learn more about the Sparrow Hawk shipwreck and its Irish passengers, and we attend the Lifetime Achievement Celebration for Liisa Budge-Johnson at Wingate in Kingston.
The South Shore Community Action Council receives a training grant, and we attend the Plymouth Phil's Lunch and Listen program at Cherry Hill.
Mike Guimares is on set for another Home Matters episode, but we start tonight with a movement. High school students in Plymouth organized and held a March for Our Lives rally in Plymouth on the same day as the National March in Washington, D.C. Students, along with community members, were rallying for school safety and for Congress to implement stricter gun legislation. We spoke to the student who was instrumental in organizing this event.
We are in front of the town hall in Plymouth on the town hall green, rallying against gun violence in a sibling march with the March for Our Lives campaign started by the Parkland students. The biggest thing is for Congress to stop taking so much money from the NRA and listen to their constituents instead, and pushing for stricter background checks, stricter gun laws. I have never actually put something on like this because I've always shied away since I'm 16 and I can't vote and things like that. But once I saw the Parkland survivors and the students really standing up, it empowered me to do so too, because I just felt like if they can do it, I can too. I was in contact with a few people on the Plymouth Democratic Town Committee, and after that we started meeting regularly and started an email chain in which we were able to get permits together. We started the GoFundMe so we could pay for these permits and to be here, and I think that was the biggest part. And then after we got all the permits together, we were able to go live on social media, and social media has been a big part of this to promote this event. And then after that, we were able to get together a program for how we wanted to do this. We wanted a victim tribute, and we wanted to highlight student performances. All the proceeds, like what we got that we don't need, are going to be donated to the March for Our Lives initiative, as well as the Parkland victims. We are the generation that's grown up in a school shooting environment more than any other generation has, since Columbine, Sandy Hook, everything like that, and we've had these lockdown drills in place, these active shooter drills that no other generation of like our parents never had to deal with that. So it means a lot to promote school safety like this, and to have just to have everyone together, and that's what the students of Parkland did for March for Our Lives, is to get all the students together to make our voices heard. When I was getting all the support on the Facebook event, I was almost floored, and we met our goal on the GoFundMe of $1,500, and I really wasn't expecting that, because Plymouth doesn't usually see political rallies like this, and because we're a smaller town and we're not like Boston where we have a common and like things like that happen all the time. But that's what pushed me to feel it was so much bigger to do it here, because it affects every town, and we're lucky to live in Massachusetts with some strict gun laws, but I just really wanted to be heard in my own community.
For the better part of the past 4 decades, Mary Ann Smith has been a mainstay at Pembroke Town Hall after stumbling upon a secretarial job there in September of 1981 when she went to get a building permit. After serving 27 years in the building department there, followed by several years more as the elected town clerk, Mary Ann Smith is calling it a career. PCN sat down for a one-on-one with this transplanted Quincy native who's now made Pembroke her home before she heads out the door for the last time.
Donna Pratt, who was the former town clerk, retired, and it was her 3 years that she was up, and she was town clerk for like about 25 years, because I always worked with Dawn at town meeting and elections. And so when she retired, I said, oh, I think I'd like to move up to the clerk's office, and, and so I ran for office, and I won. Election time, this office is absolutely crazy. Keeping on top of everything with the state. Election and town meeting, it's crazy. Like the beginning of the year, we now have dog license, and the beginning of January, we mailed out 7,000 census so that we know who's living in town, the families. They all have to be inputted into the computer. What people don't see is on every desk, they see one computer, but it's actually two, because we're dealing with the state as well as the town. It does get stressful on state elections. The last presidential election, I have to admit, was awful. I mean, this early voting, now they're talking about same-day registration. We have 5 precincts. I don't know how it will work here, and I don't know what's going on. It's like, but election day, I'm running around to all the different precincts to make sure they're up and running right, bringing the absentee ballots, because people are coming in to absentee vote, and you have to keep a track on everything. And my mother worked for the city of Quincy for 40 years, retired on her 70th birthday. So when I went to Plymouth County, they gave me a date, and I says, you know what? That's my mom's birthday, and I just lost her a year and a half ago. I said, I'm going out on the same day. I think working for the town of Pembroke is awesome. Ed Thorne, our town administrator, he's very easy to work with. If anybody wants to work for the town, I think it's great to work for Pembroke because it's a close family.
Just in time for St. Patrick's Day, the Pilgrim Hall Museum unveiled a portion of what looks like to be a long-running exhibit. They did so with a night of Irish whiskey sampling in its honor. The museum's executive director explained to PCN the significance of the whiskey tasting and what's in store for this exhibit in the coming months.
We're having an Irish whiskey tasting, which is an unusual event for our museum. And it's for a very specific reason. We are celebrating and honoring the arrival of the first Irish here in Plymouth Colony. They came on a little vessel that was later named the Sparrow Hawk, and it sadly shipwrecked off Cape Cod. And these poor, hapless passengers and crew ended up being rescued by Plymouth Colony and staying here for a time. But the shipwreck itself has got a fascinating history. It was buried for over 200 years in the sands off Cape Cod when a great storm, one of these nor'easters like we've been having lately, uncovered it from the sand during the Civil War. It was found and ended up becoming part of the collection here at the museum. There are futtocks and floor timbers and pumps and all kinds of pieces. And what we want to do is try to put these together in a really amazing digitally enhanced exhibition coming up as part of the 400th anniversary commemorations here in Plymouth. We really don't think about Irish history when we're talking about the history of Plymouth Colony. And to me, it's fascinating that there were Irish immigrants in Plymouth at the same time the Pilgrims were here. The things that we're showing tonight are just for this evening only, but we are working on a multi-year research project to really go in and study these ancient remains of the shipwreck. They look like old gnarled dinosaur bones. We want to study them, we want to be able to digitize them, 3D mapping, and reconstruct this vessel as a 3D full-size hologram, in addition to taking care of the very ancient timbers themselves. We are very grateful to have people in our community that help us with projects like this. Pioppi's Package Store knows a thing or two about Irish whiskey, and they've sponsored the event for us, and they've reached out to the community. Members of the Pilgrim Society have reached out to the community to invite people to come and learn about this really amazing maritime artifact, enjoy a little Irish whiskey, and help support an important historical project at Pilgrim Hall Museum.
Liisa Budge-Johnson has been such a pillar of the community for the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department, the senior community, and the Plymouth Networking Group that it only seemed fitting for her to be honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award for her years of dedicated service. Friends and family packed the function rooms at Wingate at Silver Lake for this event.
Entertaining and supporting others in Plymouth County. We are here tonight to honor Liisa Budge-Johnson, who is the co-president with me of the Plymouth Networking Group. She is a pillar in our community to many people for all of her volunteerism and helping seniors stay safe with the Council on Aging, with the Sheriff's Department programs. She started the Score for a Cure years ago, helping with cancer, which is a huge fundraiser every year in Plymouth. She's part of the Elephant Sanctuary, which helps save elephants. There's just so much that she's done that I can't even begin to tell you at all, but we will hear it all tonight from people here to honor her. So the Lifetime Achievement Award is something we, as a Plymouth Networking Group, which is a group of about 65 organizations that help the seniors of Plymouth County. That's what we do, is we raise money for the seniors of Plymouth County. And we decided to start it this year and give it to somebody very deserving it with volunteer hours to seniors in the community. And we're starting with Liisa, no better person to start with.
Liisa has been so integral in getting the word out to all of our communities, the seniors, the school kids. It's really been a wonderful experience. She has done so much for our community as a whole and so much for me personally. And I can't say how much I appreciate Liisa.
We work a lot with seniors and Council on Aging to help the seniors in our community. And Liisa Budge-Johnson has been right there all the time with us, helping us with seniors, making sure we can all work together to keep them safe. People love Liisa, as you can see by the great turnout here today from the people from the Council on Aging all throughout our county who have worked with Liisa, who she's helped. And that's why I'm really glad to be here today to support Liisa and to congratulate her on her lifetime achievement.
When people leave tonight, they're going to think that this Liisa, if they didn't already know her, they wish they had known her, because she's just amazing in the service and the volunteerism that she gives out to the community and the joy and excitement that she gives wherever she goes.
The South Shore Community Action Council in Plymouth recently received a scholarship for several weeks of training with Praxis Growth Advisors in Norwell. We spoke with the owner of the company who awarded the scholarship to find out what it entails, and with members of the South Shore CAC to learn what they hope to get from this training course.
Our scholarship program is really focused on helping to give back to the community. Part of what we do is we help businesses grow, we help them grow faster. Nonprofits sometimes, their businesses too, people don't always look at them the same way. And when they want to grow faster, they've got to find the right target market, they've got to find a way to go get in front of them and execute a process to be able to fulfill their needs. We really are looking for a company, a firm that wanted to do things differently, that wanted to go out and grow and have a greater impact. And South Shore Community Action Council fits that bill for us for a couple of reasons. From our perspective, we also want someone who's going to have a broad impact to the community. And I really don't think we could have chosen anybody that has a deeper impact to the community than the South Shore Community Action Council. So I think it was a good fit from both sides. They've got a desire to grow, do more, and add more value to the community. We want somebody that's going to have a visibility and impact. So it was a perfect fit.
We're so pleased that we received the scholarship from Praxis Growth Advisors and from Eric. We're in a period of transition ourselves as an agency with our new Chief Executive Officer, Jack Cochio. And honestly, with the situation in terms of state and federal budgets nowadays, things are very uncertain for a variety of our programs. So it's really important for us to be able to engage with our communities and to have this opportunity to go through Sandler training and to work with Eric so we can really hone our practices and be a stronger development department.
So our food program, for example, is not funded whatsoever by the federal government, state government. All of the funds that we receive for that program are from private parties or from foundations, grants, things of that nature. The budget for that program is about $250,000 per year, and over the last year we did approximately 600,000 pounds of food distributed to about 38 area pantries, churches, et cetera, et cetera. $250,000 is not that easy to come by if you don't have any funding from the federal government. But we've been able to do that in the past. We'd like to be able to grow that program.
What we found in doing this work is that there are so many organizations, individuals who really are looking for a way to make an impact on the community and try to find a way to contribute based on their giving practices, their philanthropy, to be able to benefit low-income people who are living here on the South Shore. So through going through this training and building up our capacity at South Shore Community Action Council, we really are looking to find a way to connect with those organizations, those individuals, and really boost their donations to the agency so we can support vital programs and they can make an impact on their community.
The Plymouth Phil has launched a program called Lunch and Listen, where players from the Plymouth Phil provide music and lunch to the senior community. We met up with the Phil at a recent performance at Cherry Hill to talk about the goals and benefits of this program.
The Phil is we've been around for 103 seasons. We're made up of all professional musicians that earn their living through music.
They're people who come from a variety of different performing-related backgrounds, but all of us are professional musicians.
Lunch and Listen is a new program that we've just instituted at the Phil that's aimed at senior audiences. We bring a ensemble, and we include lunch because we feel that the socialization part of it, the opportunity for the residents of the senior housing to talk to one another and have lunch is just as important as the music. So the music is the reason to bring everybody together.
It enriches seniors' lives in multiple ways. First, we're happy to get on board with this because we find that some of the seniors that live in housing can be a little bit more socially isolated than some others that are still driving, are attending events on their own behalf. So we felt like bringing the event to them at the center where they're living would actually create more of a draw, decrease that social isolation, and empower them a little bit more. They absolutely enjoy the program.
Well, there are several partners involved in putting together these programs. The main funders are the Glick family, who also fund other programs at the Plymouth Philharmonic, and to whom we're incredibly grateful. Also the Council on Aging, and there are several other partners involved as well. It takes the resources to pay the musicians. It takes the resources to provide lunch for the audience members. It takes sort of the personnel resources to organize everything, to communicate with the residents and the different partners in the project. And it takes the personal resources of the musicians to organize the program. So I've selected all the music and built an interesting program around it. We all rehearse on our own, practice our own instruments, and then come together as a group and rehearse so that when we perform, it's at the highest level possible.
We will be expanding this program. The two biggest senior housing units in Plymouth are the Cherry Hill and the High Cliff on Stafford Avenue. And they are the two with the biggest community rooms, but we invite residents of the other housing units to come as well.
For them to take the interest in the senior population, it speaks volumes, I think, of where they're willing to go for the community. I know they've focused on programs on working with children in the past.
The new program in the education department is the Link Up program, which is a program that was designed by Carnegie Hall, and it means that we'll be in the Plymouth and other area schools every year as opposed to every other year. And this program is a hands-on program where they learn different pieces throughout the school year, and at the end of the year they will be performing that with the orchestra from their seats in the audience at Memorial Hall. What I like best at the concerts is at the end of the concert when I stand out in the hallway and I see everybody leaving and just see the joy on their faces and know that I played a part in bringing people together through music.
We are so pleased to have back on set today Mike Guimares, who's the owner, broker of Remax Spectrum. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
We haven't had you in a while because of the weather.
Weather's been brutal.
Talk to me. Talk to me about the state of the housing market and what the weather's done and where are we?
Well, spring is here.
Yes.
By calendar only, it seems.
No kidding.
The weather's definitely has not been cooperating.
Right.
We had seen in February what seemed to be maybe an uptick in activity, and then back-to-back storms changed things.
Yeah.
So the spring market still has an inventory issue, and we've talked about this for months.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to be adjusting just yet, and that's a big problem because it's creating issues for buyers that are on the sidelines ready to go.
Yep.
While interest rates are ticking up, and it's impacting their affordability. So we're concerned about where the market's going right now.
It's literally a perfect storm.
It really is.
And it has been.
It has, yeah.
I mean, people could have been a month and a half, 6 weeks ago, ready to start really staging their houses, getting them ready to sell, and everybody just stopped.
Absolutely. It's almost like when that weather happens, it just puts them into an immediate
hibernation
sense of
mode.
Hold and wait.
Right.
And they should be really doing the opposite because it's going to turn at some point, and you need to be ready to get on the market before everyone else does.
Right. And how much have the interest rates ticked up?
We've seen it go up about 0.5%, and depending on the program, of course, and that every 1% affects 10% of affordability.
Exactly.
So 0.5% is about 5% affordability.
Right.
For some folks that are on the borderline of being able to afford a home, that could really make a difference.
It could make the complete difference. Now, what about inventory?
We're getting ready. We are starting to see some signs of people prepping their home. Coming soon. We use a coming soon feature.
Yes.
That's approved by the Mass Real Estate Board.
That's very popular now.
It is, and the reason is when you're in an environment where the inventory is low and the demand is high, homes tend to sell quick if they're priced properly. And if you don't do a coming soon process in advance of the live listing date, you may only see a few buyers that end up putting an offer in right away, but you may have missed a lot of buyers that could have bid higher.
Right.
Or had better terms on their offer. So we're starting to see an increase in coming soon listings, people prepping for the next couple of weeks, and it seems that April 7th to 10th seems to be the target point for people to be live.
So we're talking about a week from now.
Yeah, about a week or so.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. And the people that are waiting on the sidelines, like you say, they're probably already pre-approved?
They should be.
They literally are ready to go to make an offer.
Yeah, they should be. To be able to take advantage of what's going on with listings when they're hitting the market, they have to be pre-approved before they're looking. You should never be out looking at homes without being fully approved from a mortgage professional.
Right, not online. That gives you a clue.
It
that gives you an idea, a guideline.
It does.
But you really should go to a mortgage specialist or bank.
It gives you somewhat of an idea of what you can afford based on what your monthly debt is and what your income is. But you need a mortgage professional to really look at your overall picture, credit, income, your job situation, and really get a good sense of what you can afford so that when you see the home you like, you're ready to put in a nice qualified offer that's got a more likelihood of being accepted.
Now, are the interest rates the only thing that affects affordability?
It's not, and everybody thinks of interest rates, obviously, but pricing is a huge piece, and the impact of inventory on pricing can dictate that. So buyers that are much more qualified and can afford more than they're looking at, they're approved maybe at 400, but they're only looking in the 350 range. They're stronger, more qualified buyers. They're driving the market values up because they're in the market, they're ready to buy, and because they can afford more, they can overbid, and that's pushing the buyers
everybody else,
right? Pushing the lower buyers out.
all the levels up.
It does.
Right.
So interest rates have an impact, but pricing and inventory certainly have a play in that too.
Now, a couple months ago when we talked, you said that if a house goes on the market, within a day you might have 6 or 7 bids and a couple overbids. Is that still happening?
It is. We have a lot of first-time home buyers that we're working with that are in that 350 or 400 and under range. And we're seeing 9, 10, 12 offers, multiple offers on properties within the first 2 days.
Right.
And it becomes a very challenging situation because when you have buyers that are ready to look at homes, they could put off for one day going and viewing something. It could be too late.
They could lose it.
Absolutely.
Wow. And there's still not really any housing for the first-time home buyer, the lower affordable housing.
It's true. There are major issues with homes being built that are more affordable for folks. The cost of new construction today has increased drastically for many factors, and what that's doing is it's pushing all new construction inventory that normally is a good percentage of what our market has in place. It's pushing it to the higher price point, so it's much more of a step-up market as opposed to an entry-level market. And that now what you're seeing is folks that are adding on to their home and doing other features. It's pushing their market values up, so the homes that were in the sub 300 range are now up 400.
Yeah. Now, Talk to me about some tariffs just hit. I just read something about tariffs on wood coming from Canada, cedar.
That's correct.
So what does that do, and how does that trickle down?
So I think that people watch the news and see what's happening with taxes and what the government's doing from budget standpoints and how we're trying to handle trade. And tariffs, while they may not seem like a major issue for the end consumer at first blush, we're seeing a lot of tariffs being added to construction supplies. And it's not just the steel, it's the wood. And as they come in, those tariffs are sometimes being done retroactively. So the tariff is announced as the one that was from Canada. It was a U.S. tariff on Canada supplies. It was a retroactive 10 days. So anything that was ordered prior but hadn't been delivered yet was going to see a 20% increase. And so that has drastic impact, not just on new construction, but also people that are doing renovations, additions, remodels. It goes across the board.
And there's nothing we can do about that.
There isn't. I don't think we're going to see the end of that for some time. I think this year is going to be somewhat of a year of instability with regards to pricing on materials.
Yeah. Now, have the sellers missed the boat if they haven't already put their houses out there?
Not yet, but it's getting very close. We've seen the price increase. The median price increase is up about 5% over last year. Inventory's down 10%.
Yeah, that's not a good
so
combo.
They haven't missed it completely yet, but they don't want to wait any longer. You cannot, as a seller, put your home on the market when you have too much competition. Because it's not just the things that you think of with location and features and amenities. It's also the timing of who you're competing against. And having a lot of homes on the market really does hurt your price. So sellers that are thinking of selling need to act quick. Get their house on the market as soon as possible.
And there's always that fear of, well, I got to find something to buy before I put my house on the market. Go over the mentality of that one more time.
Yeah, so folks are always looking for the next home. They don't see it on the market because of inventory, and so they hold and wait to put their home on. That creates a huge logjam issue. So when they find the home they like, it's too late. They can't get their home sold fast enough. There are ways, if you hire a professional, that you can put offers in on properties that you like and hold them, or at least have your home on the market so that if it sells, you have more of a time period to find the home you like. There's so many different tactics to do in order to protect you, but you really need to have your house on the market. Sellers are not waiting for buyers that have homes to sell.
That's right. That's right. It's going to be out there. So contact your real estate professional. Do it now. Stage your house. Get it going.
Absolutely. Get it ready. Get it on the market, and have it available for as many showings as possible.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sage advice as always.
Love being here.
Love having you. Thank you. And thank you for watching. If you want to see the show again, you can check out our website, and PCN is also on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook to get up-to-date information. We'll see you next week with a brand new PCN. From all of us at PACTV, have a great week.